know, when you're driving a Ferrari, the question is, what kind of music do you listen to? And I really think the proper answer is, you don't turn the radio on at all, you just listen to the music of the engine. Because they sound so sweet. You know me, I'm a Camaro guy. I like to race Camaros. I also race an Evo, so I'm kind of like a chameleon. I like everything, but we're here at the Daytona Motor Speedway, and we're a guest of Pennzoil and Shell, and more in particular, Ferrari. Ferrari's here with Ferrari Club of America, and we've got everything here from James Bond era Daytonas and GTOs, all the way up to the high-end stuff that's just coming out of the factory now. Cool. You know, if you've been living under a rock and you really don't know what a Ferrari is, let me kind of explain it to you. Not everything kind of turns you on. Some people got a sweet spot for Mustangs. Oh, God forbid. Other people have a sweet spot for Camaros, but you got to admit, a Ferrari is pretty sexy to the whole population out there. They're exotics, they're expensive, they're something that not everybody can have, but you know what? We've got about 150 of them here, and let's go check them out. When you look at a Ferrari, one of the first things you notice is bodied by Pininfarina. Pininfarina is the one who, the chassis house that designs the shape of the car. And then Ferrari figures out how to engineer the car to make it a road-going car. So Pininfarina gets the fun part. They get to dream up the exotic-looking design of the car. You know, and this 85 GTO is just stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at the lines and the flares and the spoiler and the louvers everywhere. It's just so sexy, you know, and it's 30 years old. It's just amazing. Here we have a 308, and if you ever watched Magnum PI in the 80s, this is what he drove. Of course, he had the top that came off, and he raced all over Hawaii, you know, chasing bad guys. But, you know, still, look at how classic of the design it is. Not real fast, not a lot of power, but man, they're just such a classy, cool car. You know, they're always looking for the perfect supercar. But then, you know, styles change and tastes change, and sometimes, you know, a Lamborghini would come out with some, you know, supercar, and they'd have to one-up that, and they're constantly one-upping each other. But it's just the evolution of the design and power plants and technology that they have to keep building into the cars. And, you know, when you look at these classic, look at the entrance for the radiator over here on this 348. I mean, it's so cool, and they're straked, and it's not just functional, it's a work of art, and it's a work of design. You know, they really did think a lot of the stuff out. You don't see on a normal road car. These guys are serious, and they're just not trailer queens. They drive these cars, and they drove most of them here. And you look at an F50 over here, multi-million-dollar car, and it's got rock chips in the front fascia of the car. You know, the guy's not scared to drive that thing. And so, you know, my hat's off to him. I would drive it too. Yeah, I mean, you don't see any branding on this car. It's essentially built by Fiat, but designed by Pininfarina. And this is kind of the entry level to get a guy into the Ferrari family without actually pinning Ferrari on his shirt. You know, you've got Dino all badged all over the car, but you won't see a Ferrari emblem anywhere. But it says Ferrari all over it. When you just look at it, it's like, wow, you know, it's pretty cool. And Dino, that was Enzo Ferrari's son. That's his name. That's where it comes from. You look up Wikipedia and you look under Ferrari, and it states that it is the most powerful brand in the world. And you know, you really can't disagree with that, because the minute you say Ferrari, you think of fast cars, luxury, unobtainable, you know, the highest level. Those are the things that you think about when you think about Ferrari. You know, here we've got Testarossa row. You know, it's a 512 Testarossa, and they were so classic back in the 90s. Look at the strakes on the side. They're more of a squarish design. And Testarossa means fiery redhead. And they weren't just talking about the color of the hair when they named this car. It was when an Italian talks about a Testarossa, for the redhead, it means there's fire in that relationship, and that's what this car brought to the table. What's cool about the badges here, you see the prancing horse, Scuderia Ferrari, that's what the the SF is, and then you have the Italian flag on top. So it's really a pretty cool thing. You know, when you buy one of these things, there's not a whole lot of options that go along with it. But one of the options is to be able to buy the badges that go on the side of the car. And it really makes it stand out and pop off the side of the car. Some of them you don't see them on there, but most of them you do, especially the 360s, really set them apart. Ferrari isn't just a brand, a nameplate, that type of thing. It really is a lifestyle. The thing about a Ferrari is you're also known for their supercars. I mean, making the fastest car in the world, the fastest production car in the world. And that's the holy grail for a lot of these guys, Lamborghinis, Bugattis. That's always something that they're striving for. And back in the day, late 80s, you know, 1990 era, you have a Ferrari F40 here, and that was the supercar, man. That's a 200-mile-an-hour car. And I can remember being at an IMSA race at Laguna Seca, and Jean Alesi, you know, was around and was one of the top Formula One drivers at the time for Ferrari, and they plugged him in an F40, and he just absolutely, street road-going car, went out and trounced the field of race cars. So that's how good and how fast this car was. You have choices out there when it comes to buying a supercar or an exotic car. You can buy a Lambo, Porsche, you know, there's a lot of choices out there. But a Ferrari is something special. I mean, it just has a certain, I don't know, DNA that all these other cars don't have. It's old, and it evolves year after year after year. These cars get better and better, faster and faster, and more technology is built into these cars that make them better. And it all stems from their Formula One car and the technology developed there. I mean, look at Formula One today. I mean, they're running a hybrid engine. It's a power unit. It's not an engine only. It's a power unit. It's a hybrid. You've got batteries, you got electric power combined with gasoline-powered engine as well. So they really are taking it to the next level. And they integrate that technology into the cars that they build today for consumers. So, you know, owning a Ferrari, something that you need to do at least once in your life.